everyone, it's Sunny. Dual Devastators is this weekend, and I know a lot of people are trying the Fairy deck at the moment. After the results of Ribbit 4, it has become incredibly apparent that Blackwing's Value and Zombies are the decks to beat, and I think that Fairy has a good to solid matchup against pretty much all of them. I think that Fairies in particular have a really good matchup into Zombies. Zombies are a deck that do have a lot of explosive turns, but those turns require their engine to be online, and Fairies' natural game plan of banishing your opponent's monsters completely stuffs their entire setup. In the event that they do resolve their floaters, you have Herald of Orange Light to hold for a Bryanak push, and summoning Christia basically means you win. You also play monsters aside from DD Warrior Lady, such as Thunder King, which stop their searchers from accumulating value. There are some specific choke points that can make this matchup awkward for you, but that's in the event that you can't access DD Warrior Lady, or they have a battle stop and you can't play around it, such as Book of Moon, as well as a follow-up in hand already. Even though I'm saying all these things that make the matchup good for Fairy, the replays I selected won't actually demonstrate that super well because I end up trolling a couple plays at those crucial choke points that I talked about above. I'm going to be doing replay analysis between two different zombie variants. Keep in mind the following replays were selected before Ribbit 3. It's just that I didn't end up making this analysis video because I was insecure about my voice or whatever. So it's not completely updated with modern lists. The first is against Psychic Zombies. Although it isn't updated with the popular Power Well build, it wouldn't even have mattered if it were, because based on the events that occurred in this game, it would probably be harder for them to win if it were updated with the modern build. The reason I picked this game is because it's a game where it should be completely unlosable from my side, but I managed to find a way to throw it anyways. So I opened Amazing because I have Recruiter, Christia, and Dust Shoot, and he opens 3 Darks, Trooper, Turtle, and Dad. I shuffle a Dad back because if I don't, he's going to summon it eventually since he has 3 Darks in hand, and based on his hand composition, he won't be summoning anything that I can crash with, so Christia won't be coming out before Dad, most likely. He summons Trooper and has literally the worst mills of all time, which is partially why I think Trooper in decks like Zombies and Diva Hero is not very good, and then he cycles my Shining Angel. I summon DD Warrior Lady, and now he knows he will unfortunately not be getting any value off this Trooper. On my turn, I banish the Trooper and summon the Nova Summoner because it's a free 1400 damage. On his turn, he sets, and I'm reading that it's the Pyramid Turtle because it has 1400 defense. This walls a Nova Summoner and gives him more turns to try and get some tempo. I switch the Nova Summoner to defense because I don't want him to crash a turtle and pass. He sets another monster, which I'm assuming is the Goblin Zombie, and I top deck Insanely Broken and draw a Thunder King. Now I switch the Nova Summoner to attack because I want the Goblin Zombie to be stopped no matter what, and having 2 attacks guarantees that it goes to the graveyard, while the Thunder King is still up. I end up having the correct read that the second set was Goblin Zombie, and he gets nothing off of it. I still should have attacked the turtle with my Nova Summoner because even though I know what it is, it would still be good to have it confirmed. It's not the hugest mistake, but it's still a small optimization I could have been making. He draws a set, and it doesn't matter because I have MST, which ends up clearing the Dust Shoot. It wouldn't have mattered anyways because I have 2 Christias, meaning that the next turn is extremely sad for him because I double tribute for Christia and clear the turtle. Now, I know that might not seem like the best play because I'm losing 2 rather high value monsters to summon the Christia, but I know his hand is Krebons and Zombie Master, and it's unlikely for him to be able to deal with the Christia at all top decking as zombies. Additionally, every single turn I pass is another chance for him to draw Caius, although he should be pressured from the potential threat of Orange Light. Because I don't have Orange Light, if he actually does summon the Caius, I end up losing my entire board, and it's really bad. So I'd rather just clear the turtle now where he can't get value. On his turn, he summons Krebons and passes, and this is actually a really annoying monster for me to clear, but because I have Christia, the Krebons doesn't actually convert into anything, so it's fine. I want maximum damage on my turn, so I summon the Alchemist and double swing for 16. Unfortunately for me, he draws a Christia out on this turn, and here's where I completely mess up. I'm hard reading that the new set is Raikou because there's no other set that is impactful on the current board, and there wouldn't even be another set except for maybe Goblin Zombie or Spirit Reaper, but I make a huge mistake this turn because I need to flip the Raikou now and force him to target the Christia. Basically, not attacking the Raikou is the only way I can possibly lose because then it lets him remove the Christia on his turn to set up his board, but if he spins the Christia on my turn, then I have 3 lights in my graveyard, which means that main 2 I can summon Soul, then double sack for my second Christia to maintain my board. But instead, I troll and attack for 2400 damage into Krebons, and this leaves him an option to try and OTK me on his turn. The 2400 damage isn't significant at all because 1500 is well above brain control range, so I'm not even stopping any plays by putting him in at 15. It does end up being a Raikou, so my read was correct, but my play was so bad that he ends up braining my Shining Angel, which was my only form of defense remaining. Not that it would help me against Bryanak or Dark End. And then he makes Colossal. He then summons Chaos Sorcerer, and then he has another Krebons, which makes Dark End. Unfortunately, although I have one play left, which is to summon 2 souls and double sack for Christia again since I have 4 lights in my graveyard, it doesn't matter because no warriors in my graveyard means that Colossal can crash into Christia and then swing for game. So I made a couple of mistakes early, possibly, with the modes of some of my monsters, but ultimately I don't think that those were extremely consequential even in the worst case scenario. But the Raikou turn was 100% game losing. If I'm reading Raikou, I need to force it face up on my turn because otherwise they have too much flexibility on their turn to go for a push. Even if the set is Goblin Zombie, I need to attack it no matter what, unless I know for a fact that they don't have Book of Life, or Tuner Access, or a Caius, and a Christie out. So that's pretty much the takeaway from that game. The second game I'm going to be looking at is against Diva Hero Zombies. This is an extremely explosive variant of zombies that has even more OTK potential than normal Diva zombies, which is pretty ridiculous because that basic zombie core is already an OTK deck. The one I'm playing against opted to play copies of Miracle Fusion, although that isn't always the most popular choice because it clogs with Book of Life. So my opening is 2 DD Warrior Ladies, Return, Mirror Force, Herald, and Honest. Any hand with DD Warrior Lady is a good opening, so I set DD Warrior Lady and pass. There's no need to set the Mirror Force because set DD Warrior Lady already trades favorably with every single main deck open in Edison, except for main deck Nock or Prodigy Caius. Prodigy Caius is also an even trade, so even in the worst case scenario, it's not even bad for you. I could even opt to Herald the Caius if it were dropped on mini turn 1. Sirocco Bora is another annoying open, but in terms of game state, it's not super consequential because you have more than enough life to set up all your plays while denying them a blizzard target. Their hand is also a little bit slow, so they set Turtle and pass. I'm guessing that their read is that the set is Raikou, since that is the most common set in Edison, and that's why they don't set their book. This ends up hurting them because the Warrior Lady now trades with the Turtle and turns off their potential Book of Life. I set another DD Warrior Lady main 2 because now I know they're on zombies and their engine isn't online, which means that the exact same play is still strong. The next turn they elect a T-set, and I choose not to Heavy Storm because they now know that I'm most likely playing Fairy, and thus main deck Raikous. So I'm assuming they won't be setting cards like Bottomless Trap Hole here, especially because Bottomless Trap Hole only hits DD Warrior Lady and nothing else in this situation. I also have a Recruiter in hand to cycle the last DD Warrior Lady or Alchemist, as well as Return, so I'm pretty comfortable trading DD Warrior Lady with back row. It ends up being Book, so it's just a +1, but I still have Herald in hand, so I'm not worried about Raikou or Caius, and end up setting Mirror Force on my turn in case they go for a conservative Diva push. They end up tributing the set, which turns out to be Diva and not a zombie like I thought, and now I know they're playing the Diva Hero variant. This is because there's no tribute set in Edison that makes any reasonable sense here except for Malicious. If I'm really stretching it, the set might be Guardian Sphinx, but DD Warrior Lady still trades favorably with it, and that card is so bad that no one should be playing it. So here's where I make a game-losing mistake. I get very comfortable knowing that I have Herald in hand to protect against pushes, and I don't want to -1 myself on my Heavy Storm because I have Mirror Force set. And this is horrible, because the set is 100% a Battle Stop or Bottomless because my opponent knows I have DD Warrior Lady set, and they also know that I'm aware the set is Malicious. But instead of banishing the Malicious, which I know is the only way they can play this game since they had to set Diva instead of Zombies, I elect to flip the DD Warrior Lady and attack. The set ends up being another Book of Moon, so obviously I'm back to square one and I have no way to stop the following turn from resolving aside from 1 orange light. The thing is, I have Herald for 1 level 8 Synchro, which I'm assuming will be Dark End, and the DD Warrior Lady will trade with every other level 8 Synchro in the game, so I'm still comfortable with my current position. Just in case there's a ridiculous Brio push that comes after the Dark End that I didn't think of, I end up setting the Return as well. On their turn, they summon Diva, which tutors the 3rd Diva from deck, letting them make 2 level 8s. And here is another potential mistake of mine, because if I just Herald the Diva here, they have a very, very costly 2-card Dark End. But because I wanted to preserve the DD Warrior Lady, I let them resolve the Diva, and they make Dark End. Now, obviously I Herald the Dark End, but they make a 2nd level 8, and it turns out to be Stardust. I'm still not worried in the slightest, because Stardust just loses to DD Warrior Lady, but what I didn't account for was that Dark End is a 2nd Dark. And now it's an absolute horror, because he foolishes the Goblin Zombie and summons Dad. I have absolutely no stop for the Dad after stopping the Dark End, and he pops my Warrior Lady and Mirror Force, leaving the Return. Now during the battle phase, I make a very strange play, which is activating the Return, and you might be wondering why I chose to lose the game on this spot. The reason is because I'm dumb and didn't understand the game state. I will be taking 7800 damage direct here if I don't activate it, and I thought it would be highly improbable that I can win because I only have 2 fairies engraved, and the Recruiter in my hand is Shining Angel and not Nova Summoner, which means that I'm forced to spend my Honest on the first summon off the Shining Angel. The thing is, if I just summon DD Warrior Lady off the Shining Angel and drop Honest on the 2nd attack, I'll have enough fairies to drop Christia, which is the only way I can come back from the game. Now, if they just attack the DD Warrior Lady with the Ab-Zero, even if I drop Honest, I'll lose a DD Warrior Lady and then Stardust and Dad attack for game. My guess is that they gave me too much credit and assumed that there's no way I just choose to die, and I definitely had Gores. But I also have no clue what Gores does here, because they'll just run over the Gores with Dad, and my Mirror Force is already gone, so I can't stop the Dad from just beating me down. The other thing I'm guessing is that if I have exactly Honest and Gores, which are the combination of cards I need for this play to not just kill me instantly, then I'll have to draw the 3 cards, whereas passing lets them resolve the Dust Shoot that they drew for turn, with a very strong board that lets them win on the following turn. But ultimately, they end up passing, and I top deck absurdly lucky, because I draw the second Shining Angel for turn. If I did not top deck a Recruiter there, which is only about a 13% chance, I lose on the spot to this Dust Shoot. But they end up taking the Honest, and I'm pretty sure this is a mistake. Because if they take the Christia, you now know that you can attack the set Recruiter with Stardust, and then Ab-Zero will clear the next monster and the Honest, or I'll be forced to go past 4 fairies to live the turn. This means that I'm essentially checkmated because I need to draw both Freed or Soul and another Christia to even attempt to stabilize. But obviously my only play here is to set Shining Angel and pray, because they have full knowledge. On my opponent's turn, I think they may have made another mistake, because eventually they will be able to send Darks to their graveyard or draw Kais, and I will lose, but instead they cycle my Recruiters. The thing is, if they do this, I'm now pretty much guaranteed to drop Christia, because crashing twice puts me at 1800, which is not good, because Ab-Zero Crash allows him to force my Herald, putting me at 5 fairies, and then Dad trades with Christia, forcing me to top deck a dead monster with 1800 life points, against a deck that still has both Stratos and Zombie Master in the deck. But crashing once puts me at 2900, meaning that I can live an attack from any top deck, and it gives me 3 turns if they only find 1 zombie. Something even better for me happens though, and they attack my second Shining Angel, which lets me summon DD Warrior Lady and trade with Dad. Now I'm really confused, because any of the other lines that I isolated before would have killed me instantly, and I thought it was because he didn't want to trade any of his monsters with the third DD Warrior Lady, since he has 3 very good monsters. But then he just did it for me anyway, so I don't really know what the logic behind that was. Now I'm set up to win. He sets 1 back row, which is scary, but I obviously start with the Heavy Storm. Honestly, I truly believe that he should have negated with Stardust to make me afraid of Bottomless Trap Hole, but I understand why he let it through, because I'm summoning Christia no matter what here, or else I will lose. It turns out to be his own Storm, and then I summon Christia and add back the Orange Light to stop the Ab-Zero nuke. Now, I'm not exactly sure why I didn't activate the Smashing Ground I drew for turn. It lets me clear his entire board this turn, forcing a top deck against Christia, but it doesn't really matter because they're still left with Ab-Zero against Christia and Herald, so I murdered the Stardust and pass turn. Funny enough, the top deck was actually Zombie Master, so if I went for double crash, I would have lost. On my turn, I just end up killing it to know what all my options were. Since I drew Christia for turn, I should have summoned Orange Light and activated Smashing Main too. This is because I can summon the second Christia with the same board, except now his is empty. But I don't see the line for some reason, and I give them another turn to find an out. These are all mistakes, because if he draws Brain Control, I just lose here. Next turn, he passes, and I make the play I just talked about. Zombies just can't come back from Christia, especially because he used 2 books, and I have 5 cards at 1. I summon Shining Angel to attack for 4200 damage, since this puts them below Brain Control range, and now I've actually won. But yeah, you can see how this was a very messy game where I made 2 completely huge throws by not clearing the book with Heavy, then removing the Mally, and then not Orange Lighting the Diva, but I luckily top decked the Recruiter and managed to come back. Which just goes to show you the power of Fairy versus Zombies, because the inevitability of Christia means they pretty much have to OTK you, or you're going to win. To conclude, I just wanted to say that despite all the different zombie variants, the Fairy deck's game plan does not change between matchups. I still wanted to banish their engine, and the cards that were added were graveyard reliant. Psychic / Lightsworn and Diva Hero zombies were just 2 variants shown in this video, but I've also seen Flamval zombies, Vayu zombies, and Quick Draw Plant zombies, all of which leads to relatively similar game plans. Although, before I go, I'll just end the video with another replay demonstrating where the Fairy deck does pretty much destroy zombies by banishing all their monsters. There's not going to be any analysis because my opponent can't do that much to interact with me. It's just unlucky for them. If you're entering deck Devastators with Fairy, especially this weekend, good luck. I really hope that this video has maybe helped you a little bit. But until next time, thanks for watching. Hey, so this is Sunny from post-editing at 2 a.m. I just realized that watching these replays, they are actually not that useful because I win since I'm just top decking like a god. It's true that I am really lucky with my top decks in these games, but I'm still banishing all their monsters and they can't play, and These games do technically show that, even though it's not the best example. But I can't find anything else right now because I'm way too tired. So you're just gonna have to live with this.